and get a status on it.
Yep. Broadcast has started.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
I'm Jay from LOC.
Dave?
Stan, new edition.
Yeah, that's right.
New and
So,
improved.
heads up, can give us a thumbs up if we're live, and let us know we're. With Jesse, you see us? Hey, there you are.
Jesse,
Cool.
all right, cool.
All right.
Good. So we're going to go tell you a bunch of stuff, and along the way, please use the chat section to chat amongst each other, and use the Q&A whenever you want. Interrupt us; we'll answer all the questions live, and that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where we come from, Dave?
Plymouth.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, so we've been flying, Jay and I, for since we were kids, of course, almost like everybody else. Started Yank back in the mid '90s, just because there was kind of a lack of completed kits. We were kind of frustrated with some of the offerings that were out there at the time, and some of the scale stuff that was difficult to find that we liked. That we just had these kits, so we decided to get that going. And then, of course, 9/11 happened, and all that aftermath was fairly brutal. We ended up selling to LOC Precision back in 2002. Never really thought we'd end up back here buying LOC back, but bumped into Barry just over 4 years ago, huh?
2016.
Yeah, and he was asking, he's like, looking to retire. Hey, I'm ready to kind of hang it up. You want to buy it back? Well, I don't know. Sure, take a look at the books, and I guess we relocated it from Ohio. Is 35 years old, and Barry bought it from Ron, the original. Never had a chance to meet him, but got to talk to Deb a little bit. Just to get some history, because to us it was keeping the history alive was important. And that's kind of how we kind of came to be where we're at today.
So that's it. So then we found Stan.
I gotta throw a quick shout out to Jesse Uliberry, model rocketry guy. He introduced me to Dave and Jay about 2 years ago at Midwest Power down in Princeton, Illinois, at a launch. It was colder than hell that day, but we sat outside and had a good time. I had made a bunch of different types of rockets of my own, original builds and designs, and so I showed it to them. They liked what they saw. But in the last year or so, I've been coming up here and visiting, because it was so cool. I only lived 32 miles away from them. So, that was a surprise. So I come up here, and we've been hanging out, and they says, can you make the audition for the band? And I brought my guitar and amp. Oh, wait, I digress. We just took a look at what they got going here, and I liked it. I just told my other job steward, I'm going to go make rockets.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
And you'll see Stan's original scratch build behind us here.
Yeah.
You'll get some closer to the camera later on.
Some of the backstory, when we moved the whole company up here in a couple of semis, the printer didn't make it very well. Barry had a large format printer for all the decals and everything. When it got here, it didn't like it. All it could do was cut vinyl. And so we got to thank Mark over at Sticker Shock for the first, 3 years of helping us out, making the decals for us. He does good work. Everybody's familiar with Mark.
100%.
Yeah, and so, it just came to be time that, we needed to get a printer, just demand, and of course this guy is pretty good at art over here, so hey, let's marry it all up real quick.
I have a bit of an art background, and one day we were fooling around, and we ran some of my old files through the printer, and he says, hey, we got something here.
Yeah.
So it'll help with our future endeavors.
It's true. You want to show them something?
Yeah, we can show you, give you a little sneak preview here. We haven't had a lot of time. We've been busy throughout the holiday season processing a lot of orders and supplying our inventory. But when I get a little bit of time, I don't know how well you can see these. There's some, don't get too close, but there's some ideas of some of the decals we're going to start introducing. Different dress kits for different rockets, things like that. And just a few more samples at this moment here. don't know how well you guys can see that.
They're all rated G pictures, right?
Yeah, they're all good.
Family event.
So anyway, we're hoping within a few more weeks to get these on our website and have them available to you guys if you want them. But you can put some personal custom touches on some of your kits and have fun with it. That's what we're doing.
Per diameter,
Yeah.
so you can choose the design you like and apply it to where you want.
So that's one of the up and coming things.
That's true. Let's see. What about our improvements?
Improvements. Well, they never seem to stop, do they?
No.
It's a work in
Every day.
progress.
Yeah. No, some of the kits are old. We got the original Top Gun.
Yeah.
Someone was kind
that's
enough to share it back. I guess you guys can't see that. And things were made certainly much more differently 35 years ago than today. So things, equipment's different, machinery's different, supply is different. Even shipping rules have changed quite a bit. So as everybody evolves through that, there's just some natural evolution that kind of needs to happen with some of these kits. Upgrading them, giving them retention, strengthening where we need to, and then of course, some new kits, some stuff that we still had on the Yank drawing board that we never had a chance to release. Well, it's kind of good timing to do it now, I suppose, 25 years later.
Yeah, why not?
Better late than never. So a lot of that is having fun. The instructions, definitely need some updating. That's a work in progress going through. We're excited to get some video instructions going. We're efforting that as we speak. We have started with a couple. That's always fun, but the main focus is always to bring new people into the hobby. Grow the membership for both organizations and get launch attendance up. Yeah. So they've been good enough to give us some kit stuffers and help promote. To me, launches are the event that everybody congregates around, and so put more people in the get them at the launches. Enjoy it. It's a good time. It's a fun time had by all.
It is one of the kits that we've had enough time to get into our inventory. Something that I designed kind of quickly, but yet it was based on a smaller scale rocket I had built. They are available now, and we're happy to have it added.
Absolutely. So another big initiative is to promote the hobby as a whole. On all of our flash cover art, we're advertising for NAR and Tripoli. No charge to them. We're just trying to grow the hobby. And also including NAR and Tripoli brochures in every kit, just to get the awareness out. And, if you're ordering a rocket from us, you probably know about the hobby, right? Some don't, but those cards go to people that don't.
Right.
Tarp teams, schools.
Or the hobby, some of the retail hobby chains that
Exactly.
they might not have any idea.
Right.
And the goal is to get them to attend a launch to learn proper instead of doing something goofy in the backyard. From our point of view, with some of the larger kits that could be a little more of a complexity and safety being number one. I feel it's always better to get them to a sanctioned launch, either club, either organization. The search pages for the local clubs and, get the attendance going that way.
Good. Okay.
That's,
You want to show them what we do?
Oh, yeah, you got that video.
Let's do
yeah,
that.
we'll put on.
And feel free to chime in with questions. If anybody has any, we'll try to answer them as we go here, because we're more curious to hear from you than you are of us, I'm sure. We like to hear from everybody.
Yeah, have to find this quick. Okay, here's a little video we put together just to show you guys kind of what we do on a daily basis. Yeah, no kidding, right? And no audio, so we'll be talking about it through, it's only a few minutes. This is our shop inside. We got all of our nice, pretty rockets everywhere. That's original Top Gun Dave was just talking about. So we're thankful to have enough room to hang those guys because they're big.
Well, about 7,000 square feet we have to play with here.
We do. Laser cut all of our wood parts. We do custom stuff. If you're ever in the market, custom shop's kind of always busy, so if you have some patience, we can certainly rip off some fins for you. Custom slotting as well. You ever need custom decals, please go to Market Sticker Shock. He's the man. We have several laser cutters that have different jobs. This one is slotting right now. The previous one kind of fins. Here's Stan with this Rocket Man.
Working at the drawing table.
Yep.
Stan does a lot of handmade decals, hence if you want something custom, it would take him much longer to try to do a one-off or something.
Oh, there's me
There
gentlemen.
working.
Learn how to play.
Practice.
Employee wellness program.
That's it.
Keep them happy.
Ripping off some decals. That's a 4-inch Patriot. They now come stock with decals. There's a Goblin decal. As you can see, it's timely, but we try our best.
That's just weeding out the background and prepping it for application.
Surging some Nomex.
Yeah, fire blankets, recovery, they're all made in-house here. I don't think we farm out anything. We were talking about that earlier. We don't import any parts on.
We try not to. We even smoke our own meat and ribs and stuff. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
especially on the weekend.
Endless part processing,
and this is right.
packaging the small parts.
Ground line. CNC sewing machine. It's very cool.
It never sleeps.
Nope.
Bins full of fins.
Yeah, storage bins. Every kit's got a bin. Miscellaneous parts or some leftovers from a production run. There's a production table.
Sandhawk coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we try to keep everything in stock, so that table is constantly usually flowing down to the other end where all the kits are stored. And that's the fun part there. That's why we're out here.
That's
why we do
we're
it.
doing it.
Jay, can you refresh your screen? Jay, can you refresh your screen? Jay, if you can hear me, please refresh your screen. We lost audio. Jay, please refresh your screen.
Hey guys, we just refreshed. Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear you. That sounds great.
I'm not seeing any
Audio now?
comments. By these computers.
Technology's great.
Newspapers.
Anything now? Yes, okay, cool.
Oh, there
okay.
they are.
Back
Where did we lose you guys?
right after the
I
video.
don't know.
I lost myself after lunch.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. Okay. Did you and hear the video? Is the video okay?
All right.
Yes.
Thumbs
Yeah,
up there.
thumbs up.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Good.
All right.
Okay. So then you want to start back at?
Yeah, we'll see if this is where we lost it.
Thanks, Jesse.
One of the things that we have been working on is we have recently added a 3D printer, and that will allow us to make some prototype parts, which we can then transform into molds for our injection molding machine. What that will allow us to do is replicate some of the parts in my early kits that I've designed, hopefully so that we can throw them into a production setting. Some of the kits, or some of the things that I build are a little difficult to sit there and make by hand. So if we can, modify the procedure to make these parts, and then we can get them kitted up, and hopefully we'll see some newer things this year.
Yeah, not planning 3D printing anything for sale because that
it's just
takes too
time.
long. And we need 20 of them maybe we keep up. It just doesn't make sense to us. So
It's a great tool
it's a great
to prove the concept.
for prototyping and play with the mold and
The
things like that.
the molder is the ultimate goal for the parts.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's that's one of the new things we're looking down there.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting, really.
Yeah, sure is.
Nothing in there.
Okay.
Looks like there's something there.
There is one.
Am I blind? Oh,
There's no sword flare.
you're behind
My
over there.
iPad is not working. Let me get in here.
Thing is busted.
Jeff Fisher, love the alignment guides. How about some bigger tube sizes and a wider diameter to account for larger fins?
Yeah, we can make an alignment guide in just about any size. Yeah, we certainly can. There's no reason not to. Wasn't sure how popular it would be with the larger kits, 4-inch and up. Yeah, there's no reason not to, really. I'm not sure why. I guess I never use them on a kit that big.
Shipping is hard if you're going to make a circle as we do now. We can do triangles or squares. It'll be easier, but
yeah, we can make an assemblable kit to package it down for shipping. That might work.
That's a good idea. Dan Bates, are there more LOC 1 series coming out this year?
Little guys.
Little guy. That's a good segue.
Yeah, there are. I've got a list and had a lot of requests for a bunch to do. So it's just a matter of being able to get them out. Yeah, Little Patriot made it out, and Little Iris for requests from multiple people. So we got them going. Yeah, we got a pretty long list. There's somebody wanted a small cal
cyclotron tube.
Yep.
Tube fin guy.
Little tube fin guy. Somebody else wanted a black brand, like the BBX. So
I want one.
you want one?
I want one.
Well, let me get to work then.
We love scale stuff, so.
Yeah, that's definitely our fun part. But yeah, there'll be a lot more LOC 1 kits in a 29 millimeter size as well. We're getting a mold made for the cones there, so we'll have some more fun with the low to mid.
Yeah. 18 to 24 mil motors.
Yeah.
Well, we realize too, there's a lot of smaller park flyers still, especially on the east side of the country. So,
Right.
if you don't got 6,000 or 7,000 acres, these littler kits are indestructible and they fly great. They look great. They're fun to get the kids started.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect. Okay, Jeff Fisher. Yes, alignment guys are pouring.
Okay.
Got it. I made a note.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Paul Kinzer, any chance of a 5.5 Army Hawk kit? It would be a nice compliment to your 1.5, 3, 4, and 7.5. Actually, we probably have a dozen of them already made.
Yeah.
The boosters are slotted. We just So yeah,
It's the love-hate relationship with Hawks.
that's just it.
All right, next time.
So yes, for sure. Okay.
I like
He's
them.
over it already.
I like them.
Jonathan
Glasses
Rains,
on the
having
bonfire.
achieved my level 1, level 2 on lock airframes, I'm most impressed by how many improvements you've made to your kits over the years.
Thank you, Jonathan.
That's what we're trying to do.
Certainly trying. I have the SG.
David Cohen, David Kane, I like the SG. Maybe
Gibson.
Saturn 5.
It's
Okay, good, yes.
She's a warrior.
Yeah, it used to be white.
Yeah.
Right. John Sicker, is that Ron's original Top Gun featured in the? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's, I think this
I
is,
forget the gentleman's name.
this
It
is
was
number
sent
2.
it back, but that was just
Here,
phenomenal of them.
Let me go up there, right there.
Yep.
That's like the number 2.
And then the Ultimate Max too.
Then the Ultimate Max,
You know,
for
so
sure.
it's kind of the museum in here, but we got to clutter with other kits too. But keeping clear of some of these historics that are ancient. And
Right.
I forgot who it was. I think it was Chris Pearson that said, if you look down and see green snot epoxy, that was built by Ron. So we've got a few of those hanging around that just
Yeah,
for
keep
nostalgia have to hang on to that. That's good stuff.
Thomas, which of your kits do you recommend for level 1 certification?
Lock 4 is the most popular.
Lock
choice.
4 is the most popular choice, but lately it's funny. We're getting a lot of 5.5 kit orders,
For level 1
so they can fly an I for level 1 and then have it for level 2.
as well, right? Wolverines have been,
Yep, Wolverines are
a lot of people have been getting on that one.
IROCs.
IROCs as well, big news.
I did my night tree.
No, that's right over there.
That was an awesome flight. Very successful.
Anything with, even a, what's it, Forge 29? New H128.
T-Lock,
Yeah, a little T-Lock.
Micromag, and H, that'd be hard for level 1. That's pushing it unless you start balancing.
And I think we've been watching this today. Well, I have a little bit, and I heard Mike from Mad Cow say, the biggest rocket and the smallest motor you can fly low and slow.
Yep.
And that's
That's advice,
ticket.
yeah, it is.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
Don't
Keep it
complicate it.
simple. No. And then after that, you can do what you want.
Yeah,
That's great advice.
No, learn the curve, get in there, and follow what others have screwed up on.
That's true.
Failure is the best teacher.
Dan Bates, those Series 1 kits scream on the Quest Q-Jet motors. I'm looking forward to getting more. Just haven't found any new ones. And but we'll continue looking around for them. Cool. Yeah, Dan. We'll get some more out there for
I
you.
have a funny feeling my February is getting planned out here.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm not going
That's
anywhere.
true.
It's all right.
Bill Lindsay, is the bullpup in the works?
Oh boy, that's
Well,
still
we
sitting there,
talked
too.
about that last year, and we have so many things just sitting there. You're right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot sitting there. We just, number one, we don't have a field nearby us. The closest high power field is an hour and a half away, so it's hard for us to get out and push anything that's on a larger scale and make sure everything looks good in theory and on paper, and that's all well and good, but I want to see it fly, right? And so it takes a while, and we usually shut down in the fall. There aren't many high power launches, so come January, we totally missed the one we just had, So yeah, we've got a few sitting there that need to go fly, and then of course beyond that, then come the instructions and production and the graphics and everything else. It's a kind of a slow process. The reason I think a lot of people, we started cranking out a lot of new kits for LOC right away when we got it, but they weren't really new. We already had all that on paper, and they were either in production or LOC didn't produce anymore some of the old Yank scale kits or any of the Yank kits. And so we just, it was easy for us to dive right in and get those going because it was almost like riding a bike, even though we didn't fly much, in the 15 years here and there, you get right back into the production mode and make things work. So it was simple. Going forward, there's more involvement with, right out of the box, brand new things that aren't up or down in diameter and even figuring out how you're going to make it work. It's easy to do, one-offs or custom, but when you want to talk about doing, 100 plus, kits a year or even some go in, 1,000 plus, you got to really nail down the production side of it to keep it affordable. Certainly don't want to price gouge and make things unachievable. That doesn't fit well in my...
Yeah, no, it's not good if everybody loves it, but they can't afford it.
Right, doesn't make sense to me, right? And jacking up rocket prices isn't something I want to do.
Yeah, we try not to.
Right, keep everything included, but yeah, no, that's good. Let's see, what did we use to calculate the CP on the T-locks? Actually, we used RockSim, and had the outer fins float around, at the same level and float around. So, RockSim, said looks great, and then some test flights, proved it was a great straight shooter. So, just design and then testing. We're fans of RockSim in here. We've been using it, for ever since it came out. Really, I'm not familiar with Open Rocket. I know that's a new one, but that's old dog and new tricks. I don't know. I'm just RockSim.
But then the CP calculation too, you always go between.
Yeah, well, and some of it, I guess I kind of
Barrowman and
the Barrowman's pretty conservative, or it's almost too conservative on some things. There's a funny balance there between speed and actual CP and what you're doing. And somebody asks sometimes, how do you, if you're not going to use a computer, how do you know? And it's like, well, do you ever see, you'll go watch an orchestra, they'll have sheet music and they can play, but you take it away, next thing you know, you got Kiss on stage. Well, they're not reading sheet music, they can play, right? So sometimes you can just look and sing and play. Other people need sheet music. I've never been a sheet music guy.
No, it's just the standard's one caliber.
Doesn't mean you're right all the time. That's why you better go prove
That's
it.
true.
Okay. I'm not saying that.
Gotta fly them.
You gotta fly.
Sticker, I like to see the heavy duty beauty come back. Central 29 and 424s.
Oh, that's just the one Central 29. Yes. Somebody else was asking about the heavy duty beauty. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Consider that one done. That should be.
Thank you, John.
easy.
That's fun.
Why not?
Bob says I did my level 1 on a LOC 4 back when there were no levels. That's Bob.
Nice.
Nice.
That's yeah, no kidding. Jeff Taylor. Corey, can you add search by motor diameter to your website?
Oh,
Yes.
I think so.
We can get tags and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
no,
I like it.
that's very good.
We got those Google guys
Thank
in
you
there.
for that,
haven't we?
Corey.
Yeah. No, that's sure. If that helps,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, this Q&A is more about to hear from you
this
guys.
is- yeah.
I enjoy this part.
We're not here for
Yeah, I don't like talking about myself. That
No,
just
I know.
Doing
makes me
any
weird.
glamour shot.
No,
This
I
is
love to hear
perfect.
from people.
Is there any chance, where did that go? From Alan Owens. Is there any chance the Cruiser will come back into line? A modified one for my L2.
Actually, we have some in stock.
Yep. It came back into stock probably, we had a local guy who was really into it, Alan, and he asked, and I'm like, yeah, why not? We had some, I think it was right actually when COVID first hit, and things just really quieted down for like a week, which is not normal, and so we kind of took advantage of it. Let's go play. That's when we get to go play. Let's go do it. So we got it out there, and yeah, I've got a 2.5-inch version that we just need to, again, test fly. That one we could probably drive around here. It's only a 29 mile.
Yeah, that's fine. Brian said, is the Saturn V in the background a LOC kit? Yes, it is. And that's the last one, Brian. We're not.
That was a limited run production.
It's very labor intensive with the fiberglass parts, and it's hard for us to keep up.
So the design of it was, I think, the most fun for us. We opened the doors and had, how many people came in here?
We had like a dozen people.
Yeah, and they're just take over the shop. Here's what we do. Here's how it works, and everybody just went bananas. And be honest, I had a self-induced flu. It was a Sunday morning, and I just couldn't get into it. But next thing you know, it was literally 8 hours later. Here's all the parts, and glue is happening and starting to go together. And it's like, yeah, that worked. It was a fun experience. It was such a group effort. It certainly wasn't us. The outside influences, it wouldn't have happened.
No, I think we sold about over 50, and
a couple of stragglers at the end, but they really wanted it, and I'm like, yeah, that's up to you.
It's hard to say no.
Not my
Maybe
favorite.
soon. Sorry, I'm not promising that's gone forever. But Conway says thoughts on making nose cones with a payload bay for all sizes of your rockets for tracking.
I know they get that in the fiberglass world because they are naturally hollowed out, and so it's very easy to do. For us, to get them made that way, I don't feel it's a conducive way where it's just easier for someone to cut it. Doesn't mean we couldn't cut them in house because we do for the V2 and the RNWS systems and things. I know. I guess jot it down. I'd have to think through it. I don't see a reason we couldn't cut them.
That's off our 7.5-inch Phoenix. So We cut the end off, and we have internals that allow weight cartridges to be toward the nose. This thing weighs 11 pounds right now.
But yeah, technically you could use the
shot.
R&WS just for an eBay, right?
could.
I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-inch tube in the 7.5.
It is, yeah.
And we just put more descriptions on, so if they slide a 3-inch eBay in, they could, or that would slide right in there. So yeah, we'll see if we can get that actually on the website to order it that way, so then you can add an eBay to it. And we'll think through that one.
It's possible.
Anything's possible. We just gotta figure it out.
That's true. Gary says, is there a newer version of your PDF catalog for download? I still use your 2009 to 2012.
That's probably the last one there is. So no, cataloging is something that has not really happened. Graphics and things have been really focused more on getting the kit covers and the decals and things like that. So no, we've been really slacking in the catalog, and it's just more of a lack of time. But I think I've got somebody we're gonna bring in. We're probably gonna add another body in here early part of this year again, because it's necessary with growth and hopefully and their experience with being able to create the catalog. And you're not. A lot of people ask, and it's just kind of hands are tied right now.
And we just added 5 new hobby shops in Canada, and we have, I think, upwards of 60 dealers all over the world.
Yeah,
and
active ones.
It would be really nice to have a catalog at the cash register. They only stock so much, but hey, I can order you, all of this stuff. So
our website, the way our website works, any of our dealers, hobby shops or otherwise, have the ability to real-time log in and order for their customers. So, and then we'll go ahead and take care of shipping it out to them right away, because we believe in keep it all in stock. I'd say 90% successful there. There's a few things that are always out and may take an extra day or two, but the hustle is always trying to get it to 100% in stock. Seems to be the top of the mountain.
John says, any plans for larger body tube rockets like 9 or 12? To be honest, we can really order any diameter tubes. It's the cones that is
a mold
the most expensive.
So to get a mold made for a cone that size is more than people pay for a pickup truck.
Sure.
And they got to sell 500 of those pickup trucks to almost even justify it. So maybe it'd be an investment that wouldn't probably make itself worthwhile over the next 20 years even. It'd be very difficult. I think there's a number of people out there that hand lay glass cones that size, and it's better suited for the one-off customs, because I don't ever see it as being, when we see how many kits go out, we sell more mid and low power kits than we do high power kits, and or at least transitory. And the high power kits, the 4-inch is probably the most popular size. A lot of them can take a G, so they can, you don't have to be certified to still go fly. The 7.5 kits, they're in a niche market there with the high power guys. Love it, my favorite. Don't get me wrong. When you look at the analysis of how many are moving versus diameter, size, and engines and things like that, anything larger than 7.5, it still doesn't seem to make sense. But however, again, we try to grow the hobby. At some point, I'd love to see it become regular, but that's on all of us to bring in new members, new people, and pack the butts at launches. That's my theory. It's a good time out there. Bring your friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you, John. Jeff says, can my local hobby shop get kits directly from you guys, or do they have to order through a distribution chain?
No, we are the distribution chain. So, and because of that, I feel I need to have a relationship with all of our hobby shops. And if I don't, to me, it just doesn't, I don't farm that out to a secondary distributor. It doesn't sit well with my own personal ethics. So, but yes, they can certainly contact us. We don't have super strict dealer requirements. We do have some requirements just to make sure somebody's not loading up for their own fun and trying to get a super deal. But yeah, hobby shops can come to us anytime and order up. And if they don't want to stock everything, they certainly don't need to stock everything. Again, we'll take care of, if they don't have it in stock, we'll get it out there for them so the customer's taken care of.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, very true. Let them know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Give us a call.
Stanley says, could you please add metric units to your rocket descriptions? That would help those of us
who use the metric system.
Yeah.
And we love the metric
I love the metric system.
Especially Dave.
I love it. All the
Yeah.
machines we have, everything is metric. This 16th of an inch crap is driving me bananas. So yes, I talk in millimeters and I confuse these guys because everything to me is in millimeters.
That's true.
I put an exclamation point after that note.
Love it. Love it. Yes.
All right, good. Absolutely. We'll get on that.
Cool.
Stan's got the thing after that.
Billingsley, hey Bill, he says, do you have a nose cone for a super big Bertha for an L3 cert?
No.
Nope.
And
That's a custom
typically that's something somebody would lay themselves or make the negative out of balsa and then fiberglass over, stuff like that.
Build
But
it up.
Right.
molds, it's a tough world.
Well, and that's one of the things. That's where Ron really had talent, and we still have his original lathe in the back, and we don't turn our own wood like he could. That's a skill set that we don't have. Unfortunately, it's just a giant fancy cutter right now. He had skills and was an actual woodworker. We still have a few of his hand-turned transitions and even old nose cones out of balsa and basswood was very popular that he loved. We still have some original basswood blocks here to put together, and he'd assemble them together.
Transition.
Yeah, he'd take, this one I believe is balsa, but it's 4 blocks that were glued together and then put on the lathe, and these are all hand-turned. With a manual machine, the thing is avocado green. It looks like it's from 1955. I swear it made parts for, who knows. But that is just a skill set and an ability that everything we have is all CNC. It's all programmable machines. This was hand done with somebody's eyeball and a phenomenal job. There's no way that we could ever compete or compare.
And this is the way the world is going, and that's a fiberglass version of that. Eric Keenberg made a mold for it.
Made a mold from that one, right? Yeah. And
So, yeah.
that we can handle. That's, but that's a pretty custom one-off because hand-laying glass there's a couple of guys out there that do it, and I don't want to step on their toes. They can have it all day long. It is a lot of work and we've got a lot of other things that, our direction, we're driving, going down different roads, but, most people can make it to fit our stuff if you need our tubes or,
Brendan, who made your website? We had a firm do it, but then they kind of left us, so we had to pick up their pieces.
Yes. Been a lot of fun.
We have some consultants too.
You know a guy.
Yeah.
Who lives in Plymouth.
Info at LOCPrecision.com.
Yeah, please.
We're still taking band auditions.
That's right.
John says, have a laser lock with all wood nose cone.
Oh,
and
yeah.
basswood.
Yep.
And my Top Gun Francis wood too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of those nose
Yep.
cones left in the box. They're we're just hanging on to them just because that's a pretty rare deal. But yeah, it's amazing the difference in lengths.
It
too.
is, right.
But when you're hand doing something, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Speaking of a lot of work, Stan, show them some of your work.
Oh my goodness.
Here, I can scoot here. We'll switch seats. That way
You've
you
been dying to get out of the middle.
I
all day.
don't like you.
I like the
Oh, I don't like to be the center of attention.
I think some of you may be familiar with kits like these that I have built. I don't know how well you can see them here. Now, I was using a lot of Estes parts. That's where I started out with the smaller, low-power kits. Easy to use stuff I could work on in my bedroom. But I like to make very intricate designs and just things that are unusual. What we're hoping to do is to work on these a little bit and see if we can't put them into a mid to a low high power. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like I said, getting back to if we can start 3D printing some parts and making molds, that'll help us with things like canopies, some of the odd parts that I've made. But these little guys here, they fly beautifully. They're balanced perfectly, and they fly like lasers. So we figure all we got to do is do some measurements, and we can probably start to build them. How well they transfer into production-built kits is a little difficult, but, we just need the time to figure it out. But we'd like to, it's cool to have a 4-fin rocket and a pointy nose cone, but, we'd like to get something a little more creative.
Intricate.
We'd love to throw a big pile of parts at you guys and say, okay, here, have fun with this. Because we know there's a lot of builders out there that do like to get a little more complex. So, things like this. Here, here, go launch that.
I will. Okay. See you later.
Can I come?
Yep.
Let's see.
There you are. Everything's working.
I don't know how well you can see something like this with a black background. Probably not too well because I'm wearing black. But that might help a little bit. Things like this that just look a little bit different, That's what we're hoping to throw at you in the upcoming months. The biggest problem we sometimes have around here is we're a 3-man operation. There ain't enough days in the week sometimes. We spitball a lot of great ideas. We make a lot of lists, but somehow we don't always quite get there as fast as we'd like to.
Got to get the work done first.
Yeah, we want to keep you supplied with what we have, keep you guys building and flying. Now, basically, when I first came into this picture, we just took a look at all of our different operating stations, and we needed to make improvements to streamline things and to make improvements. So that's what we've been focusing on, a lot of in-house improvements. But we're hoping that within the next couple of months, we can start to play with some designs and just come up with more creative things. Starts off in small steps, but that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
I'll show one more though.
Sure. You got a pile there, buddy.
Yeah, oh geez. Yes, I do.
Nah, I don't. I like that one.
Now this one here has the most exotic look of all. And I'm going to try and pan it so that you guys can see it. And at first, I think the parts and the shape of it kind of intimidated Jay and Dave a little bit. But then I showed them a video of it flying. And they saw that it flew so damn sweet, we got to make it work. So we're going to mess with it. We might change it here and there a little bit.
Push it up, pull.
But, if we can stamp out the parts, we can make it fly. Again, for us, though, what takes a little bit of time is the research and development. We got to make the parts, we got to make it possible to assemble, and then we got to test fly them. Where, we got to do that.
A few times.
Yeah, and the instructions are always fun to print up. But, there too, if we get down to a little bit more online video sequences on how to build some of these things, that'll help out and take place of printed instructions.
Yeah. I like to do away with printed.
Yeah, and I think
that's clumsy. Most people are visual learners.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way things are leaning anyway. We can throw out a video and just show you exactly how to assemble something, show you some tips, show you some techniques, and you guys can start designing and making tweaks of your own on some of these kits. We'd like to give it a shot, so keep your eye on our pages, and hopefully within a few months we'll have some more exotic things for you.
Yes. Yep. And other ways to strengthen materials that are typically you don't see, things like that. So not ruling out balsa, but also not ruling out that black guy being a 3-inch diameter upscale.
Right.
Somehow it's
possible.
We're having fun.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I like them bigger too, is that you can get a bigger parachute in them, because that's a lot of wings coming down. So.
Yeah. Very
No, you can take the center seat.
All
All right, let's see here. Take the center stage.
John Sicker, any thoughts on offering a nice starter 2-stage for mid-power? That's fun.
Well, that's hilarious now, isn't it?
It is. Our buddy Alan Isdell was here last night, and we have something.
We got a shenanigan.
Yep. So yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
I'll just write yes on the paper.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Frank Burke. I want to.
Awesome. Hey, Frank.
Stanton. I want to Stanton when I don't grow up. Thanks, Frank. How you doing, man?
I'm still working on that.
Let's see. Love the Red Baron. Bill's in Kansas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll meet Bill one day.
The one thing we did leave out.
Well, fill it in. Oh, there's
what
all
we left
good.
out the most is some of the inspiration behind all of this.
Oh, that guy.
Especially the weird things. Here, let me get some. A few of you may be familiar with this guy. Elgad, our little green alien dude, he's been in the picture now for a couple of months, and I think he shoots out some telepathic waves every now and then, gives us a little inspiration.
Here and there, yeah.
So, he's always here. I was hanging out. He likes to usually be in the center of attention.
Oh, God. What else do we got here? Brian says, is there any chance that you will have fiberglass fins available, or are they only going to be plywood?
They are only going to be plywood. We got rid of our giant CNC that would have been able to do fiberglass because we did a couple of custom, and it's just, that's not a world. No.
Get in there a little bit.
I'm sorry. Hi, guys. I'm back.
Box over there.
The screen's not big enough. I'm too fat.
Oh, now you're not in it. Sliding.
No, there are absolutely no plans to go to fiberglass. You know, we thought about it with the 5.5 for a little bit, and I'm not going to rule out that we may do fiberglass versions, but we wouldn't actually be making them. I don't want to deal with cutting the stuff and playing around with it. To me, well, I know I kind of throw every time. I'd rather just do the cardboard version. It's with one wrap of glass. You're going to kick the snot out of. You get a heck of a lot higher than a fiberglass kit would ever get you. So I decided to stay away from it. It's not. I don't see the need for it. We've had our stuff lay in water overnight, dry it out for a day, and it still flies. It can sit in a pond. It's done.
It's probably the future of like what we did with the laser locks, to where we provide fiberglass to strengthen the surface mount fins.
Yeah, but to actually get in a cutting fiberglass is not something I want to do in house.
And from our background, it's never been buy what you need. It's build. It's make it your own and make it strong. And right.
Yeah. The more you overbuild, the more you overbuild, the more you have failure points, right? So a lot of people, like eye bolts are a great example. You've got to have a forged eye bolt. Well, no, you don't. They'll take a 60-pound rocket, no problem.
On cardboard, cardboard is fine.
Right. Now, if you're going to go
some examples
on big, heavy fiberglass jobs where, you'll snap it in half because you're overweight to begin with, and then you have a quick link that's too small and your Kevlar is not rated high. It just goes on and on. Next thing you know, you're building a tank to go to the moon. When does it end? You reinforce the right areas. Cardboard, you can seal the inside of the tube as well if you really want to get down and dirty. CA glue does a great job of thin runny, and everything still fits just fine. Well, you just waterproof it. You almost made it like a phenolic, but it still has a cardboard, the paper layers to flex, and you're going to get everything out of it. You're level 3 on a 5.5 inch. We just did that M650. The 5.5 Zeus, no sweat, 10,000 feet, great, level 3. No need for glass anywhere. We do sandwich a lot of the fins on some of the bigger projects ourselves. I think Tim and actually had a video about that, right? Where you sandwich in between and just, to me, it's just a fancy sanding sealer. Probably adds minimal strength, but you're still putting a layer of glass. So the actual top fiber in between the epoxy resins, whether it's wood or top fiber, is there really what's your tensile difference depending upon how much you're strengthening with your resin. So,
we'll probably stick to raw materials like plywood and cardboard.
Things that absorb a resin, because then it's internally being strengthened, not just externally. If you look at a fiberglass kit with fillets, the fiberglass isn't soaking into the fiberglass. You can score the hell out of it and everything, but at the end of the day, there's the end of the line is your bottom of your score, where if you have something fibrous, it'll absorb it. Like a cardboard, it just keeps absorbing and absorbing, so you can really strengthen. So we've gone back and forth on this a lot. That's the only reason we can talk a lot on the topic, because we know that there's a crowd out there, and there's plenty of guys building glass kits out there. That's good for them, and it's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong.
That's a 4-inch Goblin. On all of our stuff, if you don't know, we recommend to peel the glassine layer off of the motor tube and or sand it off. Some people use like a sponge and then it wipes off, whatever. But if you're down to that cardboard, epoxy can soak in. This is an example of I think it's a 5-minute epoxy.
Yep.
Bob Smith. Yep. Looks okay, right? It's strong for sure. I think the shorter cure is a little more brittle. That's an example of a U.S. Composites 635. I know this is how I build. I overbuild, and that is even between the motor tube and the fins and the fillets. But it's hard to tell. I made this a few years ago, but because it's a long cure, I think the pot life is 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It gives it time to get into the motor tube and soak in the in the plywood, and just I don't know, becomes one.
It makes it all one piece.
It's awesome.
Like almost like a, yeah. So yeah, we've gone back and forth a lot because I know there's a fiberglass crowd, and that's not to dissuade anybody that likes their fiberglass. Now, don't get me wrong.
Not at all.
I'd rather see you pay less for your kit though and fly more, because I like going to launches and watching people fly. To me, that's the greatest thing. I'd rather you save some loot, fly more. And just with a couple of simple techniques, you can take care of your cardboard kit and turn it to almost the industrial strength of the fiberglass with half the weight. So, that's always been our approach to it. And the 5.5 inch size is ideal for, you can go all the way down. Depending upon how you overbuild, you can probably still get away with an H or an I, but then still go to an M. No problem. I don't see too many big 6-inch glass kits getting up on an H or an I. Plus, you get your buddy to help you haul it out.
Right.
I'm too old for that. That's getting heavy.
All right, good question. Thank you.
Great question.
Paul says, any more sizes coming for Build-A-Boat? Perhaps 4-inch?
Nothing that was planned.
Well, actually, our transitions,
the transition could be
3.
You could cut it like we do for the Black Ram or the Hawk, and basically have a plastic boat. Could easily make a Build-A-Boat as well. It's a great example of where just some saturating epoxy in the cardboard makes you almost a solid piece in the back, where we bring it all together and it's rock solid. We can examine that. Sure. I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
Doug says, any 3D printed parts in LOC's future?
No. Other than prototyping, I don't.
Yeah, we only use it for prototyping, and if they work for us, we'll put them into mold.
Yeah, they take so long to print.
We're very blessed by the volume and the catalog that we have that we need to be efficient, and we can't wait for 3D printers.
Right. No, that's true. It doesn't work for
truth.
production purposes, and there's a lot of people out there that already do it. I know when the Saturn came out, some people, that's not really modeled. Well, it was never intended to be. We knew there were 2 other people making scale Saturn, all the little frills and bells and whistles around it, that you could easily add it, that we didn't have to worry about it, nor did we want to. Those guys have something going on that's fantastic. Getting into that world, it's good for prototyping, but not for production. It takes too long to sell a couple, one here or there. Our time is just not. We need to keep kits rolling down the lane, or designing new stuff or fixing our instructions.
That's true. That's true. Bill Lindsay, see you guys at Airfest. I can't go because my brother-in-law is getting married, but maybe those guys.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get in.
See you next year. John, can I still get a big Saturn V? You can buy the one in the background for about whatever. Make me an offer. I don't know. If there's ever a time where I really want to make transitions and fairings,
you got to really beg Jay.
Sure.
That's the way it goes.
We're using that one for a paperweight.
yeah, that's about it.
It's not motors in it.
I'm not saying no,
Oh,
but
it's not loaded.
it's never been flown. It's brand new, showroom floor. What does the LOC and LOC Precision stand for?
Lots of crafts. When Ron started up, his wife Deb had a craft store at the time, and that, I believe, was the official business name of it. So he just the little spin-off ended up being LOC Precision, and that's ultimately, I guess, the story I've got. Whether it's true or not, there's a lot of people been around the hobby longer than me that could probably verify. But that's, as I understand it, that's where it came from.
That's what we know. Okay, here, Conway. I know you can glass laminate the kits for added strength, but do you do any full-length double-wall tubed rockets for added strength for bigger motors?
We have the stiffy couplers you can add. So like the 4-inch Black Grant's a great example. It has 3 booster sections, and I believe it comes with a stiffy in between the first one, and then the eBay has a stiffy coupler, so it joins it up. And all the way up and down would be almost inhibitably heavy, where I don't think that would work. You can add it, it's going to fit, but you're just going to end up adding a lot of weight. And bigger motors, what was that guy who threw a 3-inch L 75 millimeter L in the 4-inch iris, right?
In Florida.
And the thing just went bananas, and he didn't reinforce anything. I don't even think he glassed it. You know, so
That was at Airhouse.
yeah.
I don't know who that was.
I can't remember his name. That was amazing. I don't even I could pull it. That's phenomenal. But you know, the reason we do glassing in house really isn't for strength. It's more for the spirals, right? Everybody hates the spirals. Not gonna lie, we don't like it either. But you know, a 15 minutes spent just wrapping it in a quick 4-ounce wrap of glass, you get the benefits of both. Well, extra strength and no worries about spirals. You're right off to the primer booth and paint is on.
Yeah.
So that's the best, you know, you can reinforce on the inside with stiffies, but ultimately you're just adding more weight, and then you're stressing every other component from your shock cord to your eye bolt. And the more you add, more that people feel they need to add for strength, the more they're actually hurting the overall kit, because now your shock cord's weak or your quick link is weak. And the components just start falling in line behind, where, you know, the more weight you add, the more you're hurting yourself. It's keep it light and keep it simple is true in a lot of rocket science.
That's true. And you know, honestly, Conway, we one of our 4-inch goblins we threw a K535 in, hit Mach 1.4. To me, it's not the crushing point of the airframe; it's how well you built the fin cam.
Yep.
And where the
I've never seen it. Airframes usually don't fail. The pressure really doesn't, unless you have a lot of joints and you're kind of looking like a floppy pool noodle because you have too many joints. Then stiffies really help there. But if you only have a single joint, or if you don't have any joint, the airframe's not going to fail. You'll take it past the sound barrier, no problem. Cardboard, unglassed, it doesn't matter. That's not your pressure point, right? It's all on the fins, and it's the fin tabs and the can and everything that's going to hold it together. We've taken straight up non-glass cardboard. Yeah, Mach 1.4. I think we got 1.8 on that other minimum we were trying. You know, airframe held together, shock cord ripped apart on me. I don't know if something happened funky in the subsonic area, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, it survives no problem. So you don't need all that to go beyond the sound barrier. That's not.
So, thank you, Conway.
Yep.
John Eric Thompson, they got to fly Saturn V's are meant to be launched. It's true. I know. I will fly that. It was at LDRS. I had it loaded up with 5 kits.
Yeah, and one of the altimeters was the heat was playing. One of the altimeters was not cooperating, or the computer or the operator. You take your pick, and it was just we didn't feel safe with it being a 5 cluster. It's better to pull it at that point. As much as we wanted to do it too, what did it have? Two long burns, 2 more long burns, and you had the one punch to get it going.
It was a K1103 propellant X off the ground, and then 2Ks to 2Ks.
Yeah, so it was going to be like 20 seconds of flame going on, but it's not something to play with if you're not confident your electronic. And it was not the electronics so much as just things weren't talking and jiving, and I think it was heat related, and it's safer to scrub at that point than try to impress somebody.
So yes, we'll
someday
we'll get there. Jeff Taylor, is your shop open for visitors?
Well, it's sure.
I like it.
With the heads up, we're always here.
Yeah, we're always here. It's a workshop, so it's certainly not pretty to look at.
It's not a retail store.
No, but there's no bling hanging around except rockets off the wall. But of course, we don't mind people.
Let us know.
We have fun.
David Kane, I always imagined loss of contact.
It does happen that way sometimes. Yes,
that's true. That's true. John, do you still have the thick 3-inch that was used in Laser Lock?
The motor tube, yeah.
Thick. Oh yeah, that's a 75 millimeter HDD, which is heavy duty.
Yep, it's the heavy duty motor tube is the thicker walled 3-inch, and the cone shoulder for our normal 3-inch doesn't match up. Now, I believe Ron might have been hand turning 3-inch, basswood cones for it, and so that's where he would have used that. And I don't think he ever had a minimum diameter 3-inch, which I would have loved to have done, but the cone's not going to fit, and it's just not going to work that way. So that'll just have to sit.
That's true. That's true. Okay, Steve got a mini mag for his birthday. Any way to get custom lock-in ring system for it? Actually,
they just switched.
We just flipped it.
Yeah, we just flipped
it. So we
it.
have all the parts.
Per request, a lot of people have asked for that system in the mini mag, so we decided to oblige. If people ask, that's the way we'll do it. So it definitely goes above its class 1 weight now. but we're also thinking about coming out with the lighter version. One of the struggles we've had is 3/16 isn't a very popular. It's a difficult to source size of wood, which used to be really popular with high power. It was a perfect in between, light enough, than quarter, but way stronger than 1/8 inch. It was a great balance. It's really hard to source, and we don't have a reliable source, we'll call it, that I can start putting it in kit. Last thing I want to do is be out of stock on something. So we're going to make I think a lighter weight mini mag, and I think we can get away with it with 1/8 inch, no problem, on a 38 mount. It should still be class 1 like it used to be. We're going to try to effort that back into the game, so you can actually take a G80 out and still get a mini mag up, waiting on your level 1. But yes, the lock-in is available.
It is.
Yep.
We're caught up on the Q&A there.
All right.
Cool. Why don't you talk about this, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. Okay.
Can't forget about this.
Oh, here you are.
Look at that.
Okay, so this is a 2.5 inch line that we came up with that we call TWT, which stands for tube within a tube. It was an old school lock method of you slot the airframe, throw a coupler in, and then your fins go to that. Right. So we kind of did that. This is I'm not sure how well you can get that. Yeah, there's nothing in there right now. So these fins, the way they're slotted is a bunch of little squares. It's a very good crisp mount technique. So what we did is this is a 2.5 coupler, and there are removable motor cans, and you can flip them out between a single 24 millimeter, 4 18 millimeters, 3 24s, a 29, and even a 38.
We also had 2 24s per someone else's
We did.
request.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're on the website yet, but
And it's held in place with plastic rivets, and you just join up those holes, and they hold well.
there's a thrust ring inside, so that takes the brunt of the up part. The rivets are simply to hold the can in place on ejection. So after the holes are pre-drilled in the airframe, so a little bit of CA glue before you put your coupler in there to strengthen up that hole, and the rivet. And the rivets just hold the can in play. The thrust ring keeps the can from going up through the rocket, and so you can swap it out if you want to try clusters, or you just want to do your favorite 29 or however. All the cans are perfectly designed to swap among all the different kits that'll take it. And it's just kind of a fun way to not get bored with your, one motor fits all kind of thing.
That's just it.
Trying to get people back into clusters a little bit. It used to be a really fun thing, and it just seems kind of forgotten about, and everybody seems to have a minor fear of clustering. Great way to start is on low power, right? So now 418s, 4C65s,
Right.
or even the Quest jobs, or we'll get it kicking.
It's still difficult. We were talking before this happened, before this started, about how people want to level, right? I want a level 1, I want a level 2. That's great.
Yep.
And then level 3 is easy now.
Well, it's much easier
To a degree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's many people that just fly right through the spectrum of 1, 2, and then a baby 75M. I'm level 3. That's cool, but what you missed is the staging, the air starting, and the clustering.
Yep.
So, I mean, don't forget about that, because you're missing a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's, the point of a journey is not to arrive, right?
That's
I mean,
just
so
it.
it's you gotta look at the scenery on the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
I quoted that one.
That-
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, no kidding,
right.
Let's see. John, how much for that kit with the mod motor?
Good question.
The TWTs are $50 to $60.
I think so.
The motor cans are 10, 12, something like that.
Yeah.
So, affordable fun.
Yeah. That wasn't designed to break a bank, but they come with all the decals, and they got a blanket in there, an actual swivel with the parachute.
We have a Harpoon, a Phoenix.
Standard arm.
Yep.
The concept's still sitting there waiting to get on the
I
website.
know. And then
I was thinking the Cruiser might be another one.
that's it. Oh yeah, you
I thought
did.
the Cruiser would be fun.
Yeah.
It's up there. I thought that might be a fun to do TWT instead. I don't know.
All right.
We'll see.
Let's see. Brendan, way back, Estes had a 4 cluster your D-size Patriot kit. Do you have anything like that now?
Well, there's not in the Patriot specifically, no, but I remember that kit because I was a kid looking up at it, wishing I could afford it.
You love that.
You know, at 10 years old and my $2 a week allowance, it was never going to happen. Not to mention to buy the motors for it. But we don't have anything like that, but the TWT kits are a great way it's kind of a segue, I guess, for comparison. I remember that kit. And yeah, so here's a way you can get 418s and any of these 2.5s, and they'll go. I'm not going to tell you to fly them on B4s or B6s. You're probably going to need at least Cs because our tubes are heavier, and we use birch ply, not basswood on them, so they're a little more robust. You know, but with the other composite 18 millimeters that are out there now as well, you'll get it going, and you can cluster and play with a 2.5 inch. I've got prototypes for a 3-inch, but they haven't been touched in a couple of years. We were going to run 3-inch size as well. But it just never came through. So we're still trying to. We've got a bunch for the 2.5 we haven't finished yet. Trying to get some of those out there. So I want to fluff that line a little. It's a lot of fun. You just in your backyard. You know, they stay low, they fly low. You can fly them high, but without being, you know, the tab all the way down to the actual motor tube. You're a little more. It acts like kind of a glue on the body tube style fin, but there's a slot there. So it's got a little more how, but I wouldn't push it. You know, that's just me. I don't like fixing rockets. I don't want to break them.
Yeah, you try not to.
I just don't know.
That's good. Thank you, Brendan. Stanley, what do you recommend to avoid zippering? I am thinking of my beautiful mini mag that I bought from you, or a 5.5 inch Goblin that I'm considering purchasing.
Glue on the end of the tube. Let it soak down, the thin CA right on the tip of the tube. You let it soak on down, and the outside of that tube becomes as hard as a rock, which you then have to worry about is shredding your shock cord. So if you're going to use a Kevlar or a very rigid shock cord, you might slice right on through it. I've sliced through Kevlar shock cords with cardboard kits because because the ends are when you do that to the tube end, it becomes rock hard. It's not. You're going to avoid a lot of dents and dings, but to the detriment of where everybody loves to use Kevlar. This is where Kevlar is not okay. You're better off with an elastic, elastic underwear strap, because the flex will be forgiving and not rip on you. It's better to have a little flex in there and replace the shock cord once in a while than to have it saw through a Kevlar cord, because the strength isn't always what you need. It's how the mechanics of it all work.
And you know, honestly, how to avoid it is simming it out, and you have to get the ejection right at apogee. You'll be fine.
Don't miss apogee.
No, that's it. Second early, second late.
If it's too windy, don't fly.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, that's the best way.
If you are you're getting the off the pad thing. I was going to say rod rip.
Yeah. No, I follow you. But like, you know, big kits or nose weight kits like a Phoenix or a Hawk, if it's above, 7 mile an hour wind, you just don't fly those kits. I've seen people try to push it because you've waited so long for a project, but patience is key. You just don't fly in those conditions. You're going to wreck something or you're going to hurt somebody. You just don't do it. So best way to zipper is, make sure the conditions are right and don't push. Get your timing right. And try not to over fluff rockets. I mean, I love kit bashing to death. Don't get me wrong. We've done it all our lives. I guess now we're professional kit bashers, if you will. It's just, but it's the nature of things. Everybody has a preference. Zippering is one of those things that can really be impacted because you tried to build strong here, or I thought I was doing, by getting a Kevlar cord, it's got to be better. They shear.
The 1/8 ones sometimes.
The 1/8 inch, even the tubular, they'll shear when you have a CA glued tube. But that CA glued tube on a regular, normal elastic style or tubular even, they handle a little better. They'll last a little longer, and you're also protecting your kit for the long haul.
Yeah. Who has that fireball?
I'm not sure. Somebody, the Giant Leap?
Giant Leap. Yep, Giant Leap. It's basically like a tennis ball that you can put on your shock cord.
Yeah.
Right where the forward frame and your cone, separate. So that would take the brunt, and you'll never zipper. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's wrapped in Nomex.
Yeah.
You could do it, by yourself with a tennis ball or something similar.
Yeah.
But if you have something with a larger area, pressing on that airframe.
Yep. If you're going to use a non-stretchy cord, because the purpose of the shock cord is really to absorb shock. That's why it's called shock cord. But as a hobby, as a whole, we've gotten so far away from it that people think underwear strap is awful. I saw a guy do it on his level 3, and he wanted to prove a point, and he did. It was great. It was funny, and everybody was yelling at him. He couldn't. It was one of those hold my beer moments. But because of that, there's no worry about a zipper when you do that. You just got to replace that cord. They do wear out. They do get black powder chars, and they'll snap, but they will take a good stretch.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Good. All right. Nice. Thank you. From the Viper, let me go down here. Way back. Okay. Where do we fly off there? A long time ago, huh?
oh, we've been off the rails for that.
Yeah. Okay. John, have an ultimate max.
Oh.
7-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Yep,
that
there's
one.
one right up here. That's Ron's up
That's
there.
a tall order there, bud.
That's awesome.
I'd like to see it.
Bob, years ago I built a Super Ranger instead of a Super Big Bertha. Ron got me the 2.5-inch 424 centering rings.
Yep. Yeah, we still do custom rings. We try to, as we're asked for custom things to do, we try to put that in our catalog. So, LOC was always about clusters, and we want to continue that, for sure. So, yeah. Thank you, Bob. That's cool.
I see from Corey, where does the shock cord attach on the? So the shock cord on the modular motor cans, we include a screw eye with the rings, right? So the famous little Kevlar tether is one, and then you can tie your shock cord on as a loop, right? That's always one theory. I like them attached this way. I don't know if you can. Yeah, there you are. Can you get a little something on it?
Nice.
There we go.
There you go.
Right. So there's an eye bolt in there out of the Kevlar tether, but this little Kevlar tether can also just be old school, glued on the inside of your airframe. Below where the cone or the payload slides into the booster section. So you can do it either way. That method is old school, tried and true, still proven. It's still fantastic. You're still having Kevlar, so you're avoiding some of the burn that you would normally have in there. And so you can either glue it in the inside or use the supplied screw eye. We like to have things. We try to make it so it's you can do either one, whatever you'd like to do, because everybody likes to build a little different and has their preferences, and we like to try to keep that, still in a lot of our designs. So while we tell you to screw in the screw eye and tie it on there, that's what I would do. Doesn't mean that's what you would like to do. So if you like to do it the other way, you can certainly can. Whatever floats your boat on that one. Good question.
Rick, did you say you're going to be making a larger size for low power kits?
Yeah, 29. We're going to do something with our 29 millimeter motor tubes, if you will. They'll be an airframe. We're going to get some cones going.
Hopefully several varieties.
Yeah,
of
some
them.
variety.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, anything from 18 to 24. I don't think I'll do a minimum diameter there. We'll see what it shakes out. Those tubes are pretty robust. So some play time with it too. Once we don't have a prototype cone yet. We're efforting the molding as we speak. So once we get some prototype parts to see how far we can push, then we'll know what's tolerable.
Yep, that's right. Dave is asking about retention for those guys.
Well, that's because they're low power engines. Good old fashioned masking tape is probably your best bet without strapping on a bunch of metal parts on the back to really weight it down.
No, but give me that 418.
Sure.
But if you were to either epoxy a nut in the center of all four,
Yep, same
or
thing here.
a T-nut,
A screw and a washer.
one screw and a washer could retain all of those.
Yep, certainly good.
So there's just not a lot of room for us to provide anything, unfortunately. But the 418 doesn't come with motor blocks too, right?
Oh yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah, there's little thrust rings up in the 418.
Yeah.
Everybody else is not, because who knows what length of motor you're using, and I don't like trying to nerf you into one size.
Right.
All right, let's see. Aaron asked, just curious, would the Pershing ever be a kit one day?
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, that's
Am I uneducated right now?
That's a Stan answer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really have a good answer on that one. Voice, that they make some parts for that. It's all 3D printed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, there's a lot of interest in that kit, but it hasn't been on our discussion table at this time.
Okay. Yeah, no.
I can write it down.
You probably should.
It's like a kind of a non-answer.
It's Friday, right? Might be a fun happy hour conversation.
It's a cool rocket.
What drove everyone away from elastic?
Cords.
Fun. That's a
Yeah,
I'm not going to point fingers, but
Slide over.
Well, I think just using heavier airframes these days, it just becomes obsolete. People think, well, and I would never use it in a fiberglass kit, right? But that seems to be the norm. And some of those spillovers, well, like the welded, again, the forged eye bolt, you got to have, no, you don't have to have it. You do not, unless you're overly heavy. And so that's where elastic, but they do also get burned and charred from black powder. Even if you're protected with a blanket and wadding, they wear out. And so they can snap if you don't replace them. It's almost like an oil change. You got to do it, at least once a year. At least, right? And if you fly more than that, I wouldn't give it more than 5 or 7 flights on an elastic, and you better replace it. It's just that's probably the problem with it. It's lack of maintenance. When somebody's engine blows up after 50,000, they never change the oil. They're mad too. Well, yeah, change your oil, change your shock cord. It's kind of like that. It really is that simple. But I think that's where the for lack of a better word, the bastardization of it came from. Because they break, and they will if you don't replace them.
Yep. I was going to mention something else. If there's anybody that has any contact with TARC teams or educational purposes, we do a 10% off of MSRP for them. If we can help you with any TARC events, colleges, schools, universities.
All educational, it's 10%. Yeah.
We
keep the kids flying.
Yeah, we do a lot with a lot of universities right now. Just did a big NASA thing, which is fun. But yeah, so Nita, I think we got like 10 minutes left. So
good.
Anything else you want to?
I've got nothing else.
Or?
Unless anybody else has questions, I like hearing from the people. Those are the questions I like to
this is
answer.
how
Just
right.
We need more Q&As with just people.
On your website, you have MMCs. Are they TTW? Same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So TWT through the wall.
Yeah. The modular motor can is the actual can that we call it. So all the MMCs, they're all for 2.5-inch kits right now. That's the
Modular
only
motor
size.
cans.
Yep. Modular motor can. Pick a can.
Same thing.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about it. Yep.
So we can offer you.
That's true. So eventually, soon, you want
Yeah,
to model
let me
that?
be an easel.
There you go. And I'll make some room again.
You know how we're doing on lighting, sorry.
I'll get a light on.
There we go. Oh, it looks like a moon in there.
It does. Okay, so
There we go.
since we can do wide format printing, if you have a favorite launch photo, we will be adding. Yeah, this doesn't really work that well.
It kind of works.
Anyway, typical sizes that you can find in frames. If you want us to print a big photo for you, we'll do that, and it's going to be a product on our website. You can upload it right there. Tell us the size. It's going to be affordable and fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
I wish I had my level 1 photo on the wall somewhere.
Right,
It just that was old 35mm junk yet. And that's not happening.
Yep,
It's long gone.
that's true. So that's going to be cool. We've done it for some buddies already, and it looks nice in there wherever they choose to put it.
Yep.
Anything else on our cue
What
cards?
else? I don't know. I think
Just about covered it.
pretty good.
No, if there's any other
Questions have
questions.
been awesome.
Questions are great.
Oh, I love the
That's-
questions. If
that's-
there's anybody
right.
we didn't get to or we missed, feel free to email us at
else we got.
Definitely.
info@locprecision.com. Email us your questions. We'd love to answer them. And hearing back from flyers is how we determine where we should go. And it's not
Right.
about building kits for us. It's about building kits for that everybody else loves. That's what we do. That's why we're here. And expand this hobby and butts in the seats at the launches. I want more flights at the launch, right? I love that. So yeah, anything we missed, or if we did miss somebody, they were easily accessible. Try to
Yeah,
answer.
for
Jay's
sure.
really good with emails, better than I am.
Mhm. That's right.
You're great.
So maybe we'll see you this year at an event somewhere.
And we don't have our launch calendar
Unsure
figured out
of
yet with COVID and everything. It's
plans.
not sure where or how to plan our launches for the season, but yeah, as soon as we know, we'll put something up.
Yeah.
But our vendors are usually there.
Vendors are there.
They're still traveling.
which is good. If you have a launch coming up that you would like to save on shipping or something, and maybe you can tell your local vendor, hey, give me a lock, blah blah blah. They're
Yep.
cool like that.
Yep, they know how to handle a launch if they take pre-orders and stuff.
Yep, for sure. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Well, it's been fun, guys. We
Yeah.
appreciate the platform and love the questions again. Thank you very much for that. Those are always fun.
Yes.
We get tired of asking our own questions amongst ourselves.
I'm tired of talking to myself.
Well, yeah, he does that a lot.
Just you. I'm not yet.
All right. Put a bib on pretty quick.
We'll see. Okay. Well, thank you guys. It's been a good day. I've been watching all day, so a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. I'll enjoy the event.
Thanks for having us. And let us know if we can help or whatever. Thanks for keeping us afloat.
Yep. Thanks much, guys.
All right. Take care.